Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to have a Retribution Paladin guide for Underpin on double question mark. If you really want to see the full visual learning way to do this, you can just watch the kill video that I posted up as well. It's just a kill video, no explanations. This is going to be the explanations, okay? So let's go ahead first, let's talk about brand. Now a lot of this stuff's not going to matter, however I do encourage you to put them on the healer role. Why? You can kind of clutch heal yourself if you do almost die, which can happen in this fight, like from combat. Obviously, you can die a million ways if you stand in things, but you can die just from melee hits. It's possible, so it's clutch to get a few heals. He will do a little bit of damage. If you put him on tank spec, he's going to die pretty much immediately. I do not recommend tank spec unless this tank spec gets drastically buffed after making this video. For combat curio, I literally tried like all of these. I was just like rage changing my curios like it was going to matter. I did it with Pocket Factory. That's what I had on. You do it with whatever you want. I can honestly say it doesn't matter because I tried it with all of them and none of them were doing anything for me, if I'm completely honest. For utility curio, I ended up going with the Overdrive Pylon. Honestly, just in case it popped, if the Overdrive Pylon happened to pop up, like when I was trying to break through a shield or something like that, it can be very clutch in that way. Again, I can't say that it actually helped me a ton on my kill, but that is just what I used. You don't have to use this, but I do encourage you using Bran as a healer. Let's look quick. My item level, I did it at 661. If you are not a very sweaty player, you're probably lower than this, maybe much lower than this. It's definitely possible at lower item level than this. However, I will say I was barely able to put enough damage into his shield unless I had cooldowns running. So we'll talk about that, but you kind of want cooldowns running for the shields either way because you really want to break them. But it was really hard without cooldowns to break it. I could, but it was very hard and very sketchy and very nerve-wracking to do so. So I don't know what the minimum item level you could do this as a Ret Paladin. I don't know if it's like 650. I don't know if it's 655. You know, I don't know what it is exactly, but I was at 661, which is going to be higher than what a lot of people are unless you play pretty hardcore, right? So that's just the way that is. When it comes to talents, I'm just in the normal raid talent loadout. There's plenty of things you could potentially change. Like, for example, Blessing of Sacrifice is completely pointless in here. For the most part, Bop is completely pointless in here. There are other points you could fill stuff in if you like. I just played with the raid talents. Another one that's kind of pointless. It's not pointless, but Divine Hammer. Now, it does get uptime when you are breaking that shield. But other than that, Divine Hammer does not get a ton of uptime, so maybe you could switch that with Empyrean Legacy, something like that, right? You just want to think practically on how this boss fight actually works. I will link this talent build below it, but it is just the normal single target raid talent loadout. But Empyrean Legacy could be a good choice. It's a little bit extra on-demand damage, or not on-demand, but close to on-demand damage with the extra Divine Storm there. So let's go ahead and answer the field now and talk a little bit about tactics and everything like that. So first you're in this room. We're going to pull the boss. It doesn't matter where you pull him technically at first. He's going to put all the robots he summons in a line. And that is like the most important part of this fight. You need to handle these robots for as long as you can. Eventually you might mess up. I know I did even on my kill. I eventually didn't do it perfectly. If you do the robots perfectly every time, it makes the fight a lot easier. That's kind of the hardness of the fight, is dealing with the robots. So I like to pull them over here. We can watch a quick little bit here on how to deal with these robots. This is just from the kill video, so if you wanted to watch this again, it's posted on the page. You can go watch it. So on cooldown, we're obviously using everything. It looks like I did use a tempered potion on cooldown. Let's quickly talk too. We have flask on, we have food, we have mana oil on our weapon as well. We're popping everything on pull. I don't know if you can use like drums in here, but if you could get drums, that would be great to use on pull as well. It was something I was thinking about checking, except for I was getting close enough to killing it where I was just like, I'm not going to leave. So there you see me in the brand heal. I don't really need it right now. And you can also see the bombs dropping off as well. And then soon after this, we will see the actual cronies drop. So there they are. Dodge the flamethrower. That'll one-shot you. And now we want to kick these bombs into the robots. Now, how best to do this? Why am I able to click them so fast? Is because I'm not clicking them. So what I'm doing is I'm using the interact button. If you don't know about this, well, you're about to learn. Let's go to options and we'll just click interact, or type in interact here. So I don't have it bound right now because I changed my bind back, but I basically had my interact button bound as my interrupt. So my interrupt button's one of my mouse buttons, right? Just so I can quickly interrupt in dungeons and stuff like that. In PvP is actually why I first put it in my mouse button. But my mouse button, I just changed my interact to that. The interact with mouse over to that. And so basically then is if you're kind of like looking at an object and then you press it, it'll do that. So if I bind that to that, when I get close to a bomb, I have to be within range to interact with it, right? You can't be out of range of it. But let's say the bomb's right here in front of me. I just press that button. It doesn't even have to be on your bars. You just press that button. And so right now it's my interrupt right here. But I just press that button and it would kick it in that direction that I'm facing. That's how that works. That's how I'm running through kicking them so fast. Because I have it bound. And if you don't bind it, especially as a melee, it's going to be very hard. Because sometimes you're going to need to kick it while it's like inside the boss. And it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to click the thing because you're going to be clicking on the boss itself. Right? And so most of this fight is just managing these robots. So I'm going to go through. So now that these robots are out, I am not worried about DPSing the boss. I need to dodge the flamethrower. I need to dodge that. That's the big circle from the bombs. You can kick them while they're blowing up. But I have to just kind of abort that mission because the flamethrower covered me and go in here. And I actually did horrible on this opener. I had to wait for another set of bombs. You know, I did not do very well at all. And actually on this kill fight, I actually thought about just giving up. Now what you're going to see here is I'm going to now kick these bombs just kind of where I want to go, or, you know, in the direction that I want to go soon. So these cronies spawn here. I actually got lucky. So let me show you here. So if these first ones are dead, I actually want to, so the last one would have been somewhere around like right here. I actually want to move way closer to like here, right? That's where I want to kind of have the boss at. Now he was kind of in this general range, but there was a chance, I would say, with the way he works, that he could have spawned one of the cronies way over there, which is going to completely screw you up. You basically, I think probably the best tool to show this will be this one. So imagine this is the boss. I have this on the Cauldron of Carnage. This is raidplan.io. These are the little bombs. This is the boss. This is the paladin. These are the robots. So these are the first 5. I want to kind of move up here with the boss. And then I want these next robots to spawn, you know, in that line. And they did spawn that way in the kill video. But I could have, I think where he was at, I could have got unlucky and maybe had one spawn like way over here, which would have really messed me up. And you basically just want to keep doing that along the side. And eventually they do despawn. But then, so like this next set would come over here. And now I want to deal with these with the new bombs that come out as much as I can. Kick them into there. And now I want to move the boss. So after I deal with all those, I want to slowly move the boss this way and deal with the next ones that come out. And the next ones come out. Now I ended up handling, I think, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 sets of bombs. Before I got behind, I messed up. Some spawned across the map. And once that happens, the bombs don't spawn across the map. The bombs spawn by you. So if I have 2 there and 2 or 3 over here, but all the bombs are over here, it's going to be really hard to kill those ones over there. You can recover, but it becomes very, very difficult. Let's go back to this real quick. So I had a terrible start. Didn't do great. This is the shield right here. So when we're dealing with the shield on the boss, he puts up a blue shield around him. If you aren't using a ton of add-ons or anything like that, you constantly want to be kind of looking back at the boss. You're running around kicking bombs. When that shield comes up, you need to go back on the boss. He's going to heal himself, right? If he puts his shield up. So you immediately want to go back on him. I would advise, especially if you're lower than 661 item level, you only use your cooldowns if you're lower item level when his shield comes up. It's going to take a long time to do the fight, but if he heals, you're just going to fail anyways. So you need to break that shield. Now, if you want to test it out and see if you can break the shield without the cooldowns, just on like a test run, then that's fine. Do that. Other than that, you want to put your 1 minutes into the shield no matter what. So like your Divine Tool, if you're playing Divine Hammer, put those into the shield. Your trinkets, unused trinkets, put those into the shield. Make sure the shield gets broke. If you're playing Radiant Glory, which is the talent spec that I will have posted to you, the 30 seconds you can try to use, like let's say you deal with the bomb, you do perfect kicks, get perfect bombs, you do perfect kicks, the robots are taken care of, your 30 second, your Wake of Ashes is back up. You can put that into him, but now just know that the next time he casts his shield, they may not be ready yet, okay? Just so you know. Even if you're doing it on cooldown, they may not quite be ready yet. They will come up during the shield, most likely, but they may not be ready yet. And it's very important that you beat that shield. That shield cast, that recharge cast. Other than that, the things that are going to one-shot you are the flamethrower and then him jumping in the air and landing. So you have to get out of those two things no matter what. These big circles, they do hurt really bad. Especially if you press a defensive or something, you can survive them, even at like a lower item level. If you press a defensive, you'll survive one of these balls. They'll just knock you back. It's very annoying. And I do get hit by multiple of the balls during this, but you're just dodging during the shield. So we'll look at this. We're going to break the shield. And now I need to start worrying about these bombs a little bit. So I'm going to start kicking them in to the robots. Again, using my interact button. And now I need to figure out how to deal with this last one. Just kind of a lot of running around, looking around, assessing the situation. Okay, I need to run in this oil here. Kick that one. Kick that one. Get out of the flamethrower, a little one shot. And just kind of play like this. And now I get him in position. So this one, I move him over pretty much perfectly in this case, right? I have him right in position to spawn these cronies right over here on this next set. Now I kind of am moving here away from that. I need to get back. But I do also want to get in my damage as well. So I'm going to kick these bombs over. I'm trying to kick them over to where the new cronies might come. But I am not in great position here, if I'm being completely honest. Luckily, they spawn here, all of them. And I have these bombs already pre-positioned to hit him. He pulls up his shield. I immediately swap to the shield. We just have to dodge lines while we do the shield. There's no other choice. Now, like I said, I end up doing like 4 or 5 of these correctly. So we're still going. I still am doing the robots correctly at this point. They're all dead. Or I'm about to kill the last one of this group or something like that. Dodge the flamethrower. So I'm all the way on the other side of the map now from where I started. Got a shield up. Now I do want to show you, at the end, I eventually mess up. And I am just way behind on the robots. And at this point, I just have to try to DPS him down. So I'm going to be just dodging just an amazing amount of stuff here. And it's very hectic, and the end of your fight could look this way. If you do the robots perfectly, though, it won't have to look this way. And we can go even closer here and just see all of this dodging that I have to do. Constant dodging, get out of the charge, because that will kill you. Just stuff everywhere. But I just was trying to finish him off. And then I got a shield at 4%. It was just absolutely tragic. The balls look bigger than what they are. You have to actually be on the line to get hit. At this point, I'm just desperately healing myself while doing damage. But yeah, that's kind of how this fight goes. The biggest thing is doing that. Now, some little tips here. Try to save. It'll be tempting to horse around to go kick the bombs and stuff like that. Try to save like your horse, your steed, to get out of like flamethrower, right? So let's say the boss is standing where he's standing, right? And I'm over here kicking a bomb right here. My back's to him, and he puts flamethrower on me. This thing gets wide. Now you can outrange it too, so maybe that'd be a bad example. The better example would be if I was like right here and then he's right behind me. The flamethrower is going to be wide and I can't run out of it because I'm going to hit the wall, right? So I have to go left or right. If you have horse, if you have your steed ready, you can get out of that. If you don't, it's going to be very hard. Blessing of Freedom with speed also could maybe get you out of that situation, but it's going to be really hard. Try to save it for that. At one point during the kill video, I think I'm like over here, I actually get hit by a flame ball into the wall, into where he's going to jump on. But I had a steed ready, and I pre-pressed steed in midair and was able to barely get out of it on that actual kill video. Just like that, just like I just did. I was exactly where it was at. I was right here. I was able to steed out of it. He then flamethrowered, and I got out of range of that. It was crazy, but you can use that, and I would highly recommend you using that. For me, I used Bubble at a point where I wasn't in too big of a deal of dying, but I was starting to get behind on the robots. I was like over here, so I was like on like the 4th set maybe of robots, 3rd or 4th set of robots, and I was about to start getting behind. I didn't have them in position yet. I really need to kick some of these bombs over, and basically a flamethrower was coming, and I could have probably just outranged it, but I just went ahead and bubbled and just solo focused on kicking the bombs into the robots, right? And I just only focused on that. That's a good time to bubble. If you're getting behind, you need to run through things to kick the bombs, because that's the whole fight. Is just kicking the bombs, and it can be really rough as Ret because we don't have the best movement speed. We have a decent amount of movement speed with Speedy Freedom and 2 charges of Steed, but we don't have the best movement speed, and there's a lot of movement in here. So hopefully that's enough information for people. Obviously, use your defensives, use your Shield of Vengeance, use your divine protection if you get low health, whatever, right? Use a healing potion if you need to. Use the resources you have. If you have the drums, if you can use the drums for like a mini lust, I would recommend using those. I did not have them because I didn't even know if I could use them or anything. But if you can, you definitely want to. That would be for sure. So if you have any other specific questions, feel free to try to ask below. But ultimately, you are just killing these robots as long as you can do it perfect for. If you get them like sub 20%, then you might be able to finish them off with just, especially if you have your bubble ready, you might be able to finish off that last 20% while everything's going crazy around you. But it's going to be hard to do more than that with it going crazy. Now at absolute max gear, at like 668 or at 678 item level or whatever the absolute max is, what is it? Yeah, at 678 item level, you might be able to just come in here and do a DPS race and dodge all the stuff. That might be the case. But at this level, you have to do the robots. So, like I said, feel free to ask questions below. Sorry I couldn't get this guide up before the kill video. I was dealing with some stuff at my house. But yeah, that'll be it for this one. Ask questions below. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.